What's up, positive people? What's up, HCR fam? This is the Be Positive Music Show. I am B+, and of course, we are live right here on SiriusXM, channel 140 and Holy Culture Radio. It's the end of a quarter, so you already know what time it is. Luke, how many times have we done this so far?
Yeah, I think this is like the 6th or 7th time. It's always a pleasure, man. This is one of my favorite things to do. Thank you.
Yeah, you're one of the longest, or you are not one of, you are the longest standing guest on the Be Positive Music Show. So going all the way back to, I believe, 2022, the end of the year, that was the first time we had the opportunity of doing this. For you guys that have not picked up on the voice yet, if you're a follower of the show, you already know that is Luc DiMarzio, Mr. Ear to the Streets. He's a great follow on Instagram, so make sure you go follow him there. But like I said, it's the end of the quarter, so it's the Luc DiMarzio takeover. He's going to walk us through his favorite albums that have dropped in 2024 in the second quarter. So that is April, May, and June. So I don't want to overtalk this. I just want to go ahead and get into this because 2024 has been an amazing year. Do you at least agree with that?
Oh, yeah, it's an amazing year. Yeah, I think that last year, 2023, was a really, really strong year for CHH, but we didn't see as many veterans drop. And I feel like this year we're seeing a great mix of vets and people that are on the come up and like brand new, newly introduced people to the scene. And so I feel like that mixture is going to end up being an amazing year for 2024. Might surpass 2023 in my mind of maybe. Like just really strong, solid year for CHH. Yeah. This
is definitely been a year. I think I tweeted early in the year, or I posted on X. I think that's how I'm supposed to say it now because you can't tweet anymore. But I think I posted on X that this was the year of the vet, because we've had a strong start of the year with people like Swoop and Jared Sanders dropping, and there's been a few others as well. And that momentum is still picking up, especially here in Q2. A lot of good representation from our vets. So, like I said, I don't want to overtalk it. Luke, go ahead and walk us through 5 of your 5 favorite projects that dropped in the month of April.
Awesome, yeah. The beginning of the second quarter started off strong. The first project that stuck out to me in April was a project by Siege called My Mama Was Right. And if you followed me at all, I've talked about Siege for quite a few years. He put out an album called Heavy, I think in like 2017. He put out Good Morning Melanie a couple years ago. And My Mama Was Right. It's not as strong as Good Morning Melanie, but it's still got some bangers on there. And this dude, he's just got a great mic presence. He speaks truth, and dude can just rap. Like he's just really versed in like painting pictures and like telling stories. And so the songs that stuck out to me on this project were Paper Town, Blackbird, and 3 to 8. He's just so great, and he's put out some visuals to these songs too. He's just a really, really solid artist. Yeah, from I think he's from North Carolina. But anyway, Siege, My Mama's Right. The second project that stuck out to me in April is a project by Jonah Daniel. A project called Submit to God. And so this is crazy to me because he kind of low-key signed to GOM and then dropped his debut album. And I don't feel like enough people talked about it enough. Like he's a GOM artist, right? So it's not like just some random record label. GOM artist. And he's like very versatile. He's got like the wavy sound, but dude's like really solid theologically. He talks about a lot of stuff that like is just really fresh to me. And he did this whole album without many features. I think Bizzle might be the only feature on the album. Correct me if I'm wrong, but and he just is really solid. I really like this project, especially from a debut album. And so my favorite tracks on there were Only Aim, Burn Through, and His Story. And just a really solid album, man. I really dig too. It. He's versatile. He's great. He's good. I really appreciate Jonah Daniel's music. The next one that stuck out to me is 350's album, Does Anyone Know You're Going This Way? I think he actually might classify this as an EP, but I think it's like 7 or 8 tracks. I don't have my notes in front of me, but so like it's like kind of in the middle. And I know he's going to drop like 2 more projects that are in this vein. So this one actually is titled 3: does anyone know you're going this way? And so his next two are going to be 5 colon a name and then 0 colon a name. And so he's trying to raise the bar of just being candid in your raps and actually living how you're rapping. And he's really deep about mental health. He's always been like that. He talks about just struggles. I think this whole project is kind of about like how he's felt some bitterness towards some friends, towards some family, and he's kind of processing that as he walks through this album. Just really dope stuff. He's got the boom bap sound, but he's got like the crazy, like mainstream, weird, like wavy almost, but he kind of singing a little bit. He can just kind of go in. And every time I have had a chance to talk to the dude, he's always super kind. And he's just one of those guys that he's a great person. I love 350 so much. And so it helps me appreciate his art as well. I would say like those first 5 tracks on this album were the best part, but the album is just great.
I gotta
the next
revisit that one. I gotta revisit.
The next album that stuck out to me in April is probably a bigger album for the month of April. And that's Aaron Cole's album, Sorry I Changed. And another versatile artist. I think that artists are figuring out that they probably need to have a little bit of singing in their bag to kind of reach a larger audience. And I would equate Aaron Cole's his talent to like a Drake, where he can sing through a whole song, like a straight up R&B song, and carry the whole song. And he can even have like a section on his album where he's just doing that. But he also has the boom bap stuff. He's also got like the churchy stuff with Kirk Franklin on there, like it was a great listen. I love this album. Sorry I Changed. A couple of tracks on there I really liked were I Love It, What's It Like, and Tables Turned. Nice. And then the last album that stuck out to me in April is Eshawn Burgundy's album, Eyes on the One from Nazareth. And Eshawn, anytime he drops, it's not going to be bad. We kind of know what the deal is with Eshawn. He's amazing. And it's tricky. It's funny though, because I listed on this, but I'm not really sure that it came out in April, or maybe it did, and I kind of had to change my I buy some of these projects when they put them out on their own platform or on Even or on Bandcamp. And so then this is me just trying to remember when I think that album dropped. And but anyway, I just love to support artists like that. And so Eshawn, this is a great project, probably a little shorter than we're used to from him. My favorite tracks on there were Sabbath Morning and Silence of the Lambs. And man, April was a great month for CHH in 2024.
I definitely agree, and it's about time for a musical break. So Luke, go ahead, take us to break. Pick a song from the 5 albums you just told us about, and send us to a break.
All right, yeah. The next song you guys are going to listen to is by Siege. It's called Paper Town.
Ooh, you guys got to listen up. This is a very, very dope metaphor. So make sure you are listening very closely. So yes, this is the Be Positive Music Show, hanging out with Luc DiMarzio, and we will be right back.
Elevate your spirit and ride to the beats. It's time for a holy experience right here on Holy Culture Radio, the ultimate destination for Christian hip-hop on SiriusXM.
All right, welcome back, HCR fam. It's B+, hanging out with Luc DiMarzio. We are walking through the best of the second quarter of 2024. That's April, May, and June. Let me get you guys caught up with what you heard during the first quarter set. So the very first song was entitled Paper Town.
I won't let you wear me down.
I'm addressed to the state of my union. State of myself. Break bread with the ones who stay for communion. Health is the big picture. Think of a zoom in. They Photoshop this paper town and sold me the ruins, the play ruins.
That was by Siege off of his album entitled Mama Was Right. The next song I played was entitled Only Aim.
I'm feeling like I wasn't made for the dash. Like I wasn't made for the mission of bringing the children right into the vision and tell them that Jesus gon' make the decisions. But I gotta spend some more time in the word, yeah. I got a whole lot to learn, yeah. That
was by Jonah Daniel. And the album title is Submit to God. And then the third and final song is by Aaron Cole.
You don't know what it's, you don't know what it's like, nah. Hey, you don't feel me, yeah. I swear that you don't feel me. Look, no, I be big time, but I wasn't in a rush. Selling albums to the kids on my lunch, burning CDs.
The name of it is What It's Like, and that's off of his album entitled Sorry I Change. So with all that being said, I'm about to pass the rock over to Luc DiMarzio, and he's going to walk us through the month of May.
All right, month of May. The first project that stuck out to me in the month of May was by Just Raised, the Hustle and Soul tape. It's dope. I actually didn't start listening to Just Raised really until this year. I know he's been around for a little bit, and he's like friends with a lot of the artists I listen to, he rolls with some of that TLS crew and those guys. And so, but the first time I actually like intentionally listened to him was this project, and I really liked it. It's got some really strong songs on there, like Game Time. That Joe Pesci track with Alcott is crazy. GB actually has a really dope verse on there too.
He does.
And then that Risk It All track with Cyrus Sonata on there is really dope. Like really solid project. Yeah. And I don't even know if Just Raised he classifies this as an album. I think it's more of a mixtape. He's kind of putting just doing some tracks with friends for fun, but still I thought it was really solid project anyway.
Sweet.
The next project in May, and again, like I said earlier, this is one of those I don't know what to do with it because I don't think it's out on digital service providers yet, but I went to his website and I purchased it. D1's album Loaded. Now, D1, he's like, he's a hot topic. He's a person to talk about in this space, and he already put out an album in the first quarter. I think that in the last like 3 years, with everything he's putting out, he constantly keeps getting better and better, more relevant, finding doper features, better beats every time too. And I just really am rocking with what he's saying, what he's talking about, how he handles himself in public, way he calls people out on stuff and like stands 10 toes down on just like what he believes. And I think it's amazing. And so I really think it's dope that he's some other CHH is collaborating with Project Pat. I grew up on 3-6 Mafia, and so to hear Project Pat rapping for Jesus is amazing. And that song, All Glory to God, with Project Pat goes so crazy. I love that song. And then he's got a song called and he's got a song called You a Star. He's got a song called One of One. He's got a song with Frito Bangs that just dropped last week. That's off this project too. And D1, this album is really great. And I think he's just going to keep putting out stuff and churning out stuff and content and stuff. It's great. All right, next one. This is going to be one that nobody's heard of, and I love it. I love it that nobody's heard this because I got to put you on. Jay Kirk.
I love it.
As a Bird. And this whole album is centered around the idea of freedom. And it's crazy. It's so stinking good, man. It's so good. Okay. He's got some really solid features on there. Some features that I never heard of, but Jiggy Min is a guy that I've listened to for a minute. That song Movie with Jiggy Min on there. He's got a feature by Just Raised on there. But then this Stro guy just came out of nowhere, but that's a really good feature. This is a really solid album. Actually, I would probably put it in my top 5 for the year. Not just because nobody's heard of it, just because I really keep going back to it. And not that everybody needs to like it either. It's just that I keep going back to it. It's like something that's really fresh to me. And so, I really, really appreciated this album. And then the next one is by a guy named Fame Montana. This is a rapper out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. I probably shared a album of his with you maybe 2 years ago called White Jesus 2. And this is his follow-up to that called Goob. And it's funny, I asked him, what the heck does Goob mean? And he said, it's actually it's a nickname that we gave my uncle who lived on the streets, but it's also an acronym that stands for God Overcomes Our Brokenness. And it's funny because like with a name like Goob, you would think that it sounds a certain way, right? But he's more of like that gritty CHH sound, just really like rough, rugged. He kind of reminds me of like The Game maybe back in the day. Just that kind of sound. And so his song HBK is kind of a throw to Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And so so that's a really dope song, and that hook on there is like really catchy. He's got a song called Licks on there. He's got a song called Gray Lines that I really appreciated. I really thought it was a solid project, and I would be doing a disservice if I wasn't trying to tell people about it. So there's that one. And then probably the biggest album that was released in May is by Miles Minnick, Christ-Like California. And I mean, I know some people don't really rock with the Bay Area sound, but the dude's really doing that. He keeps striking that chord, and he's getting some people. He's like finding some like this EGR guy, some other guys. I know he's got a song with like Jay Cash. West Coast is he's trying to like bring West Coast rap back up. When I was growing up, West Coast was cool. T-Bone, Gospel Gangsters, they were running it. Dynamic Twins, like all these guys in the West Coast. And so it's been a minute since West Coast was popping like this in CHH. And so, man, Christ-Like California, really solid album. I do think that eventually that sound throughout a whole album, I can get a little tired of it. But there's a couple of tracks on there that I really like. The High Speed track that's really early, and then Boost It Up goes crazy. That's like really let's work out, let's go run like 5 miles while we're listening to that. That's a crazy song. And then like a Slept On feature on there. He had D-Smoke on a track, and that song goes crazy. I love that. More Than Sunday track on there. It's really good. And I also got to go see Miles Minnick on tour. He came to Vegas. He came to Vegas last month, and so I got to go see him. It was really dope. It was good. I mean, I wish the crowd was a little bigger. He was great. His energy on stage is great. And some of the choices in like the live production of the concert, I would have chose to do differently, but I think it's dope when a CHH artist comes to Vegas because people kind of skip over Vegas. And so he just was like, all right, it is what it is. We're going to come and do a show. So that's great because I think there's been some issues like Christian rappers will say they're coming to Vegas and then they don't sell many tickets. And so then they don't come. And so I just really appreciate that Miles just kept to his word. He said he was going to come to Vegas, and that's great. So Nice. So that is, once again, I said Fabulous Five first time, so I got to pick another word. That's the Fantastic Five. Very Fantastic Five. So go ahead and take us to another musical break. Luke, what you got for us to check out as we go into our halftime? Yeah, the next song you guys are going to hear is by Just Raised. It's called Joe Pesci, featuring GB and Alcott.
All right, y'all. So you guys heard it. You guys sit back, relax, check out this dope music from the month of May, and we will be right back. Peace.
Hey, yo, what's happening, positive people? This is your boy, Limo Blazy, a.k.a. God's favorite baby, a.k.a. Limo Blazy. Yo. And you are now tuned in to Be Positive Music Show with B+, right here on Holy Culture Radio.
Welcome back to the Be Positive Music Show. It's B+ hanging out with Luc DiMarzio. You just heard some of the dopest music from the month of May. Let's talk about those 3 songs. The first song you heard was Joe Pesci.
I was living good, feeling like Joe Pesci, feeling like Joe Pesci, feeling like Joe Pesci. Don't test me. Was living life to the day I was chosen. Head heavy, but my heart was on rose and made them find how it never exposed. And heartbreak had your boy shit.
That's the name of the song. The name of the artist is Just Raised. The name of his album was The Hustle and Flow. No, The Hustle and Flow. The Hustle and Soul Tape. Is that right?
Yeah.
Hustle
and Flow. That'd be cool though.
Well, I think somebody's kind of already got that title already. The next song that I played was entitled Pressure.
Tell them boys stop playing, cause they know what's up. I walked in, popped out, I ain't even take a flick. Flow need bed rest, everything I say is sick. A lot of people talking now, ain't nobody saying this. That flavor from a maker, baby, tell me what you make it is.
That was by Jay Kirk. That is an HCR debut for that artist on Holy Culture. So shout out to you, Luke. You've done it once again. You've broken another artist. The name of the song, once again, was Pressure. It's on his album entitled As a Bird. And then the third and final song, which is Tough, it's called Licks.
Used to hit licks on foot, brought day, and we brought a whole whip back. Used to flip sacks to the homie upgraded, and he brought a whole brick back. That's until Christ put me on like the heir to the throne. I could never do a switch back.
It's by Fame Montana. and the name of the album is Goob, Goob. So yeah, that was a very solid set, Luke. Very solid set. So now let's set our attention to the month of June. What you got?
June went crazy, man. And it was hard for me to find just 5 for this month. June went crazy, but I feel really good with my picks. So the first one, I'm going to go with Syfy the Second. He put out an album called Godchild. I think this is his debut album. He's been around for a minute. He's been doing like a bunch of loosies, a bunch of singles. He's really good follow on Instagram because he's always got, reels and stuff that he's doing. He's really in that Kendrick bag. And so like I kind of said with Miles, I feel like he just like Miles stays with the same style throughout a whole album. I feel like Syfy kind of does the same. And so my ears get a little tired listening to the same kind of stuff, but it's a really solid album nonetheless. And just the art direction, crazy. Like the way it looks, the way it sounds, everything is so clean. It's really good, man. And hey, another fun fact, this guy's from Colorado Springs, Colorado as well. So I wish I still lived in Colorado, man. I could see these people in person, but yeah, so my favorite tracks on Godchild were Blind Faith, The Sanctuary, and Sin. He's got some great features on there. Kid Lee's on a song. I don't remember who else, but there's some really, really, really strong songs on that project. The second one that stuck out to me was No Big Deal, his album, The People We Became. That's amazing project, man. So solid. Yeah. Again, not very many features on this one. I love it when an artist can carry a whole album without too many features. And Dill kind of like was in his introspective bag. He put out like a quote unquote album a couple months ago called These Are Not on the Album. Yeah. But that was just kind of a compilation of all of these like singles that he put out that were kind of just boppers, like he's just like, there's some crazy songs on there. This one does not feel like that one. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even really feel like the Indie Tribe stuff. This is more of like, man, he's just like, yeah, it was just great. The Renaissance track on there, I think that one was a single a little bit ago, and he's talking about how the Renaissance and hip hop is going to happen with the Christians. Yeah, and man, that's awesome. Miles Minute kind of talks about what's happening in Christian rap in the same way, and it's cool that Dill was doing the same. My favorite track on there is the Imago interlude. Man, he had some crazy bars on there. Even though it says it's an interlude, like that's a stinking song, man. Yeah, it was great. I love that. And then the Art of War track is so cool. He kind of throws back to Biggie's The 10 Crack Commandments, but he's like listing like here's actually how you go about things. And so you got to listen to that one. See if you can catch the parallels to Biggie on that one. It's really dope. The next project is by his hype man Stract and the Apologist, and it's called The Art of Hearing. These guys, they put out a couple projects together now, and I've been following Stract for a minute. He used to only just put stuff on Bandcamp, and so it was like a deep cut. You got to go find him, go dig him out. But he's starting to put stuff on DSPs more, and so I feel like he's getting a little more exposure. But this is that boom bap, that old school, that East Coast, that gritty kind of sound, and I really feel like his what he's got going with the Apologist really works for him. So there's some really dope tracks on here. There's one called Distractions, Eardrum, and that Invasion track with Atiba Halisi is really nice too. Yeah. The next project I want to talk about is Jafia Life, his album A Wickedness Unrepentant. Now it's interesting because if you ask Jafia, he is not in CHH. He has never said that he was a CHH artist. He actually mentioned me because I did a reel with him in it. He mentioned me and said he appreciates the love, but he doesn't see himself as part of CHH. And but honestly, though, so I listen to hip hop, but I don't know where to categorize him then, because like what mainstream rapper uses the word like unrepentant? And so like, and it's like, I know. And like everything, all of his songs are through the lens of a Christian lifestyle. Like it's not like he's all of a sudden like dropping F-bombs and stuff. Like this dude is really solid in what he's talking about. And so it's just like, okay, so maybe he's not CHH, but I'm going to say he was one of my dopest projects in June. Let me just say that to cover myself, you know.
Yeah.
But that song, Enough to Bury Me, goes so crazy. I can't remember some of the lines. I remember I was texting some friends about some lines that he said in there. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that one a little bit later.
Yeah.
And then the last one that sticks out to me for June is Marty's album, The Flop Era Volume 1. Marty,
Solid.
you know, he's another veteran. He's been around the block a couple times, but this is I think he's got is this his first? No, he's had a solo album before, right?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, Marty for President.
There we go. This is probably his most solid one though, because this one actually I'll go back to. I'll go listen to that. That track with Breno is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm not a Christian version of your favorite rapper. I Am Me. I love that. And then that Question song, I actually playlisted a bit. That it's got that boom bap style I really like. And then his song with Derek Minor goes crazy too. It's a really solid album. I really like that from Marty this year.
Nice. That's a solid collection. I can already probably guess which song you talked very glowingly about it, but go ahead and take us to break. What you got for us?
Yeah, the first song you're gonna hear is by nobigdyl. It's called the Imago Interlude.
All right. You heard the HCR fam. This is the Be Positive Music Show. We will round things out in our quick fourth quarter chat, but let's check out Imago Interlude by nobigdyl, and we will be right back.
We'll be back with more. Keep it locked right here to Holy Culture Radio on SiriusXM and holycultureradio.com.
All right, Holy Culture fam. All right, positive people. This has been the Be Positive Music Show, the 2024 Q2 takeover with Luc DiMarzio, a special episode. We always do it at the end of every single quarter. But before we get out of here, let's talk about those 3 songs that I played in our last set. So the first one was Imago Interlude.
Yeah. Christian music or music that Christians use to get they fix, just another hit of the clicks and views. Officially, I don't play by your silly rules. We independent cause that's how I felt the spirit.
That was by nobigdyl. The next song was entitled Enough to Bury Me.
My mama and my father said we all sinners. We work for Satan, but we say that God's with us. Don't ever let me tell you God's in us. If we murder our own kind until the cops get us.
That was by Jafia Life. And then the third and final song was Questions.
Yeah, I be the rap, what keep you the lot. Camouflage hat with his shorts up high. Shoulda buckled up, it's gonna be a shook night. Tokyo drift, cause you know we gotta slide.
And that was by Marty. So, we have hit the end of the show. But before we get out of here, we talked about it on the last, I think in Q1, we talked about it in Q1, that you started doing these reels on Instagram of songs that may have flown under the radar. And I love those. But you've kind of done something different with those. You've taken that same format and you're digging into some of your Christian hip hop classics. What's in your mind for you to go ahead and switch it up and do that? Because I love it. Because I've been around this game for 25 years. So why don't you make that pivot?
It's not really a pivot. My goal with the reels is to just point people to really dope music that talks about Jesus. And so if you know me at all, I'm a list guy. I've got lists on lists on lists on lists on lists on lists. And so for a few years, like 5 years, I was just taking those lists and I was putting them in articles on Rapzilla. And now in 2024, not as many people are clicking to read my articles. And so I've got a playlist of what I consider greatest of all time, CHH. And it's like spanning all the way back to the 80s. And I had a conversation with somebody a couple months ago. He's a Christian rapper. And he was like, yeah, but before Lecrae, there wasn't really any like really dope Christian rap. And I was like, challenge accepted. Yeah. And so that's when I was like, okay, I got to start making reels about this. And so it's just more of me just going to my playlist that I've already made and like trying to chunk them together. So if you pay attention to how I've released those reels, usually if like a song is in the 90s, like all the rest of the songs on that reel are probably going to be from the 90s. And so then I got some songs on there from like the early, like the 2000s, and then some stuff that's in like the 10s, like the teens, you know. And I try to chunk them together like that to show, like, keep them in the same era. And so I've gotten a lot of good feedback on those, and I'm going to keep doing that. I had a little, I got bogged down a little bit with editing, but I've got some new stuff coming out soon. So yeah, thanks for noticing, man.
Yeah, hey, we love to see it. We love to see it. So for my SiriusXM listeners, my Holy Culture listeners, if you are not following Luc DiMarzio, make sure you go change that today. Luc DiMarzio, just as it sounds, is L-U-C. There's no K on the end because there's no K on the end. That's why. So make sure you go follow him. Excellent follow. A lot of what happens on our show, on the Be Positive Music Show, a lot of what happens at Rapzilla is because of this guy right here. So thank you, Luc, for joining us.
Yep, of course. Thanks for having me, man.
Yep. And so this has been the Be Positive Music Show. I am B+, and until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive.